okay?
So I'm being treated like a murderer?
No.
I just lost my...
Not at all. I know that. And I know this isn't easy for you. That's why I'm trying to be straightforward and honest with you, okay? I don't want to keep any secrets. I don't want to hide anything for you. Someone's going to talk to you about what happened, though.
The following story is based on real-life criminal cases. Some names, details, and events have been altered for privacy and dramatic purposes. While every effort has been made to ensure accuracy, certain information may not be factually verified. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Some of these cases remain unsolved to this day.
Christopher Scholtes, the Arizona hot car tragedy that shook a community. Good day, everyone, and welcome back to Murder Mistress. Please, before we continue, do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth coverage of America's most haunting and heartbreaking cases. Every like, every comment, and every subscription helps this community grow a space where we explore the truth behind crime, justice, and the people forever changed by both. What began as a routine summer afternoon in Arizona would soon turn into a tragedy that captured national attention. A 2-year-old girl was found dead inside a sweltering car, temperatures outside soaring above 100 degrees. Inside, the heat was unbearable, far beyond what any human, let alone a child, could survive. Investigators would later describe the scene as one of the most horrifying they had encountered in their careers. At the center of this tragedy stands the child's father, 30-year-old Christopher Scholtes, a man accused of leaving his daughter unattended in that vehicle for hours. Prosecutors allege that while his daughter suffered inside the car, Scholtes was inside the home playing video games. They say he was distracted, negligent, and ultimately responsible for her death. According to official reports, the temperature that day in Peoria, Arizona, reached 109 degrees. Police say the child was found unresponsive in the back seat of the vehicle, her small body still strapped into the car seat. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, but despite their best efforts, she could not be revived. The autopsy report painted a devastating picture. The child's internal temperature was consistent with prolonged exposure to extreme heat. Forensic experts confirmed that she had been inside the car for several hours, long enough for her body to overheat beyond recovery. Neighbors told investigators they noticed the car parked outside all afternoon, but assumed the child had been dropped off elsewhere. Others reported hearing loud video game sound from inside the home. When questioned, Scholtes allegedly told officers he had lost track of time. But prosecutors paint a darker image, not of a distracted father, but of a man who prioritized his leisure over his daughter's safety. They argue that Scholtes knew the dangers of Arizona's brutal summer heat, that he consciously ignored the signs, and that his actions, or lack thereof, led directly to her death. Court documents reveal that Scholtes was initially arrested on suspicion of child neglect and endangerment. But as the investigation deepened, those charges escalated. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office ultimately charged him with first-degree murder and child abuse. In the months that followed, disturbing new allegations surfaced. Detectives discovered that Scholtes had searched for heat-related deaths and how long it takes for someone to die in a hot car on his phone in the days prior. While his defense team insists there is no proof he intended harm, prosecutors call this a chilling pattern of awareness, evidence that he understood the risk and chose to ignore it. The prosecution's theory is that this was not a simple accident. They allege that Scholtes became frustrated with his daughter's crying and saw the car as a way to get a break. If proven, it could turn an act of negligence into one of intent. But the defense counters this claim strongly. Scholtes' attorney argues that the evidence does not prove intent, that this was an act of forgetfulness. Tragic, yes, but not murder. They say Scholtes loved his daughter deeply and has been tortured by her loss. The defense points to a long-standing history of mental health struggles, claiming that Scholtes was overwhelmed, isolated, and suffering from depression at the time of the incident. As the legal battle continued, the judge overseeing the case issued a ruling that could alter the entire trajectory of the trial. In a motion filed by the defense, they requested that certain statements Scholtes made to police be suppressed. His attorneys argued that he was not properly advised of his rights during questioning. The judge agreed to partially suppress key portions of his interview. including what prosecutors called his most incriminating statements. This ruling sparked intense
And then we've just been hanging out at home. She was sleeping in the car, and I had the car on. But it has a sensor where every 30 minutes or so it'll turn off if you haven't moved. I swore she was in the house playing with her sisters like she always does. Just then. Right now, I haven't been doing anything else really around the house. And
debate. For prosecutors, those statements were vital. They showed Scholtes admitting that he left the child in the car, claiming he just forgot. Without them, the case now relies heavily on circumstantial evidence, phone data, witness testimony, and the physical condition of the car. Legal analysts have described this as a major setback for the prosecution. Without a confession, proving intent becomes far more complex. The defense, on the other hand, now has room to argue that the event was a moment of human error rather than a deliberate act. But beyond the courtroom strategy lies a deeper emotional current. Members of the community have gathered repeatedly to honor the little girl's memory, holding candlelight vigils and placing stuffed animals and flowers at makeshift memorials. Many say the tragedy has sparked vital conversations about child safety, responsibility, and the harsh reality of hot car deaths, an issue that claims dozens of lives across the United States each year. Authorities have used this case as a stark reminder. Within minutes, the inside of a vehicle can become a death trap. Even with windows cracked, interior temperatures can soar past 130 degrees in less than 15 minutes. The human body, especially a child's, cannot survive such heat. Investigators also revealed that Scholtes had prior warnings. 2 years earlier, a neighbor allegedly confronted him for leaving his daughter in a car with the engine off. Police were never called at the time, but it adds a chilling layer to the current charges, suggesting a pattern that could strengthen the prosecution's argument. As the trial approaches, both sides prepare to face a community still divided. Some view Scholtes as a monster who neglected his duty as a parent. Others see him as a deeply flawed man whose lapse in judgment cost him everything. Legal observers expect this case to hinge on a single question. Was it an accident, or was it murder? The distinction could mean life in prison or the possibility of parole decades from now. In recent hearings, prosecutors unveiled photographs of the car, the blistering leather seats, the interior temperature readings, and forensic charts detailing how rapidly heat builds in confined spaces. The prosecution described the car as a coffin on wheels, an image that left the courtroom silent. Scholtes appeared somber, dressed in a standard orange jumpsuit, hands clasped tightly, avoiding eye contact with the gallery. His attorney reiterated that the state's case is built on assumptions, not proof, reminding the court that even in the face of tragedy, due process must prevail. Still, the public's reaction remains fierce. Online forums and social media platforms have exploded with outrage, demanding the harshest punishment possible. Advocates for children's safety call this case a painful reminder of how negligence can be as deadly as intent. As